Hello there, gamers and retro gamers. I am the KILR Gamer. We've got another retro game that we're doing here on Thursday, and we're going all the way back to the Commodore VIC-20. This is before the Commodore 64. VIC-20 is not something that I had. My family, the first computer we got was a Commodore 64. But the VIC-20 had its fan base when it first came out too. It was a popular computer, pretty inexpensive, I believe, when it first came out. And just like the Commodore 64, you could like go to your neighborhood Kmart and go pick up a VIC-20 if you wanted to. It was along the lines of getting like an Atari 2600 or in television you can pick up a VIC-20 from the same. Heck, Sears I think probably had them too. But anyways, we're gonna try this game here called Ghosts. It is I almost said a parody of Pac-Man. I guess in a way it is. It's a clone of Pac-Man. Whether it's a good clone or not is a whole nother story. Now the controls here, as you can see, it has kind of like a little picture of a top of a joystick there. So P is up, L is to the left, L for left. Yeah, that's about the only thing that makes sense. And then semicolon to the right and period down below. If you look at your keyboard, you're going to look at that thinking, what in the heck? How are you supposed to play that? I suppose if you put your, like, three of your I'm going to put my index finger on the L, my middle finger on the semicolon, and then I can use my thumb for the period and then just kind of move up and hit. So I don't know, I'll probably use like a typing thing or something. All right, let's try this and see how this goes. Press any key to start. I've noticed that it doesn't move if you don't push down the key, so it's not like in the actual Pac-Man game, you move in one direction and you keep moving until you change direction. This will allow you to stop, so that's kind of a nice little plus there. It's a little hard to kind of get used to. These graphics remind me of the Atari 2600 in a way. Whoops. Okay, well, apparently that was not the right thing to do. And I only mean in regards to how that Pac-Man looks. You want to talk about simple game? Oh shoot. I don't know which way I'm going. The controls are clunky and it doesn't seem to work with a joystick. Which is kind of weird because you could hook up a joystick to the VIC-20, so I don't know why they didn't think of that on this. think this game is going to give... it's going to give me carpal tunnel. Not much as far as sound goes. Oh, dang it. Ready LL... What? Oh, hey! Well, we had a syntax error here. I guess after that, it was kind of like, alright, well, I guess we'll just kick you out. So in a case like this, you just have to completely reboot it. These ghosts can be a little smart. Oh, and they're quick, too. When you hit that power pellet, or whatever you want to call it, I know, like, in the original, the original Pac-Man game, if they're going one way and you hit the Energizer, they will start turning the other way. So if they're already heading away from you, then that means they start going towards you. And this one, it's like they start coming towards you, and then they turn around and go the other way, and that's after you've already eaten that power pellet. So it's kind of like you get closer to them, and then they're like, oh, let me go the other way. that is a little interesting. Oh, that's weird. Oh, we made it to the second level. Cool. Well, we did it on the last one, too. I like how it says high score, but it doesn't even tell us what our score is. So I don't even know. Yeah. Oh, there's the score. Well, that's weird. How come it didn't show before? Oh, because it doesn't count the pellets. Well, that's lame. You don't get points until you actually eat the ghosts. Maybe that's why they call it ghosts. I guess they had to make some changes to it to try to not do a copyright infringement or something. Because the maze design is not exact, but it's close. They did a much better job than the Atari 2600 did, that's for sure. I think it just starts over again. I don't think we go to any actual stage. Because you notice, like, I cleared the board and now the score is 0 again. To take a look and see if the score actually does reset or if we just don't see what the score is. This plays and looks like a public domain game is what this kind of reminds me of. All right, well, that's okay. You get the basic gist of it. So that's Ghosts, a Pac-Man clone for the Commodore VIC-20. kind of, interesting, just on a historical thing, just to kind of, play around with it. Definitely not something I would spend a whole lot of time on when there's a lot of other options, But back in the day, this may have been all that you had, and you may have been a Pac-Man fan, and this was the only way to really play it. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that every game is good and worth playing. Just look at the I don't know if hundreds is the right amount, but there is a huge amount of Atari 2600 games that are just trash. And the reason why they're trash is because everybody was making a video game for the Atari 2600 that weren't even experienced game designers, like McDonald's releasing something, or like Kool-Aid. And which led to the whole video game crash, because everybody was making these games, they were flooding the market, and people weren't buying it because it was too much. There was a lot of trash, and the market had to correct itself, and it finally did when the Nintendo came out. Anyways, hope you found that interesting. Let me know if you had a VIC-20 back in the day. Did you actually have this game at all? I'm really curious what your personal experiences were with it. We'll see you next time. Have a killer awesome day.